Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. I know it's been a while since I released a video. Fun fact, I actually burned my foot pretty bad about a week and a half ago. So I've been really just trying to heal my foot. I haven't really cared too much about uploading videos. Today is I wanted to release a video today, obviously, because CPI is in about an hour. So that's going to be pretty gnarly. Not safe for work. I am going to be showing you guys a picture of my foot in about in 5. So if you don't want to watch this part, just skip maybe 10 seconds into 30 seconds forward, right? But that's my foot. That's essentially what happened about a week and a half ago. Burned my foot pretty bad. It was really serious. Second degree burns. I had blisters show up, and my skin basically just got all it was pretty bad. And I had shoes on, which is kind of ridiculous. But apart from that, that's one of the reasons why I didn't post any videos. Work's been kind of crazy, so my brain has been focused on work for the last week and a half, just because there's been so much to do. Anyways, I did want to go into CPI, and actually just looking at the chart today. These are my positions right now, right? Well, let's get rid of that. These are my positions right now, which is kind of ridiculous considering SPX is running and Ethereum and Bitcoin are actually dumping pretty hard. So if you look at the SPY, SPI actually is running from 357 to 361, right? Not a significant jump. You're still running in around the same range. The issue right now is, who knows something? Why are we pumping right now on CPI? Right, when fundamentals are arguably ridiculously horrible, right? So there has to be a reason why we're pumping. But also we look at Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin and you look at Ethereum, we actually are dumping. You actually hit lows of 18.5 on Bitcoin in the last hour or so, right? This happened at 3 in the morning, right? So about an hour and 45 minutes ago, somewhere within that range, we actually started dumping. Ethereum, again, same thing with Ethereum. You actually hit the previous lows of 1220, which is right. Let me extend this chart out a little bit. There you go. Previous lows of 1220 from September, right? But I'm pretty sure, I still think we're going down lower, right? I still think Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to dump even lower. I think my forecast for about 2 weeks ago, or like a week and a half ago, was that Bitcoin and Ethereum dumped to 16K and Ethereum back to under $1,000, which I still think is going to happen, right? I still think it's going to happen. I still think we're going down under, right? And this is just early cause of that, right? We're dumping lower. But if you look at DXY is actually starting to run down, and it's actually hitting that trend right there, right? So we're actually hitting trend. We're hitting trend, and the next spot would be right here, 111. But like I said, I'm kind of rambling, but I wanted to go into CPI and why I actually think CPI is going to come in extremely bad. I'm thinking either flat or probably over 8.3%. And that's because if you run back and you think about September, September was pretty bad as far as inflation goes. Food was expensive, fast food was still expensive. You had You had housing and rent, and you had everything else was still pretty bad, right? The issue right now is that for July, the reason everything came back, July, everything was pretty horrible, right? Everything was pretty shit. And that's why we dumped in July. That's why we dumped, right? And for last CPI, September was also pretty shit. But the reason I'm actually even more worried is because the last 2 weeks of September, for July's report, you actually had gas not be that high, right? And in September, the last 2 weeks, gas actually ran up kind of ridiculously in the last 2 weeks of September. In some places, you actually saw a rise from $5 all the way up to $7 or so. So to have a 50% increase in gas, that's definitely going to affect the CPI. Whereas the previous report, you had gas almost down at $5 or lower, and it wasn't really a big issue, and you still came out kind of bad, right? You still came out really bad. So this is basically what I think. This is what I think for the DXY, right? I think as of right now, where we stand. If CPI actually comes out really, really bad, I think easily we hit 117, 116 on the DXY or higher. That's pretty simple. If we do actually come in at under 8.3%, I think under 8.3%, it's all bullish, right? That's what I think. And we go all the way back down to a 108 drop, which means that SPY, I actually think that if CPI comes out good, I actually think that we can possibly run all the way back to trend, which would take us from 360 possibly all the way back to like 390, a little bit under $400. This is what I would forecast, right? This is what I would think. If CPI actually comes out at 8.3% or lower and we're actually trending down, I think that we're headed towards, towards like a 390 SPY. And I think it happens all within a month, right? So, as long as CPI comes out good, I think we're running extremely hard. The market always wants to run. It just needs a reason for it, right? And if we actually come out, because I think analyst forecasts are 8.1% or so, right? I personally don't think it's going to be that low. I think it's going to be over 8.3% or at 8.3%, which is still pretty horrible. But if it does come in at anything under 8.3% with gas rising up so hard, I actually think that's extremely bullish news, because I think people aren't taking into consideration the fact that gas ran up like crazy the last 2 weeks of September. And if we do come in at under 8.3%, that actually shows that interest rates are starting to work, and the Fed running these high interest rates are actually pushing CPI or inflation lower. So again, I do think if 8.3% or lower, I think we're running all the way back to 390, 400-ish, right? Well, actually 390, if that gets broken, then straight to 416, 415, right? All within 2 months or so. If CPI comes in at 8.3% or higher, oh man, I think the next leg down is down to 330 on SPX. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.